Also tonight, NBC5 investigates, will Mexico be America's next battleground?
As President Trump positions U.S. military assets to dismantle drug cartels in Venezuela, the president says he'd also be proud to bomb sites in Mexico. Our investigative reporter Chuck Goudie joining us in studio with why the Mexico question matters to Chicago.
Allison, Stephan, Mexico matters in Chicago's narco world because that is the primary source nation for illicit street drugs here. But as President Trump considers military action against cartel labs, tonight Mexico's president says it's not going to happen. This is the firmest statement yet today from the Mexican leader that U.S. forces aren't invited or welcome to attack fentanyl and methamphetamine factories there. U.S. Marines in live fire training last summer north of the Mexico border as Trump administration officials debated the size and scope of cartel takedown operations, whether by ground troops, drone strikes, or both. With Mexico's police and military unable to curb the tide of fiery violence here or interrupt the supply lines of deadly fentanyl and methamphetamines, a White House attack plan would be aimed at intervening. But today, Mexico's president said no thanks. In Mexico today, President Sheinbaum saying she isn't going to ask for U.S. military assistance and that they don't want any foreign intervention. Sheinbaum telling reporters that Mexico wants collaboration and coordination with the U.S., but not subordination, and that Mexico won't allow American intervention.
Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally.
President Trump has repeatedly suggested he doesn't need Mexico's blessing, but a White House plan to attack Mexican cartel sites seems to be evolving.
I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
In Chicago, there have been thousands of overdose deaths the past decades, with 85% of illicit street drugs via the Sinaloa cartel, run by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, now locked up for life in the U.S. And now drug sales here supervised by this kingpin under indictment in Chicago, Nemesio Asegura Cervantes, known as El Mencho, and his New Generation cartel.
You know, we've had El Mencho as a fugitive for 10 years. It's about time they brought him in.
Mike Gannon is a former Drug Enforcement Administration official in Chicago who supports U.S. military intervention against the cartels.
I think it's complicated when you have Mexico. It obviously borders our country, and you want to be in collaborative efforts with them. But look, they need to give the green light. And the reality is when you have drug cartels, they're billion-dollar organizations. And that they're not going to stop. The way you have to stop them, you have to punch them right in the mouth.
Before the U.S. can land a punch, they have to find the cartel leadership in Mexico. And El Mencho, Chicago's public enemy #1 for several years, is a slippery fugitive. There's currently a $15 million reward for his arrest. As the NBC Chicago investigative team reported 2 weeks ago, El Mencho's cartel is among 6 in Mexico that have now been designated foreign terrorist organizations, which allows the U.S. military and spy agencies wide legal latitude to go after them and their leaders. Question is, what will that look like?
Yeah.
And what impact would it have here if it's successful?
Here and there.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.